Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Just a little early afternoon show for you guys and gals. I guess late afternoon is the best way of putting it. We're going to talk about Nick Saban's reaction to the Micah Parsons trade. Let's hear it from the man, the myth, the legend himself, Nick Saban, arguably the greatest college football coach in the history of college football. Really want to get his take on how he feels about acquiring a player like Micah Parsons. We'll also get into the back injury. You guys remember Micah Parsons had a back injury a couple weeks ago. We'll get the details on that from Ian Rappaport, and we'll also dive a little bit into the contract. Going to be a real quick episode. Just want to give you guys these updates real quick. Now, before we get into that, do that YouTube stuff for me. Hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your afternoon. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media members. What we are fans just like you, and you're talking Packers on the daily. We're doing pregame shows, postgame shows, film breakdown. Tomorrow, we'll be doing a Micah Parsons chalk talk, breaking down all of his sacks from last year, probably squeeze in some run stops as well. Going to be a really, really fun show. So if you're looking for daily content like that geared around the Packers, make sure you click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Let's jump into it. So Nick Saban was on the Pat McAfee show earlier today, and he was asked by Pat McAfee and former Green Bay Packer A.J. Hawk how he felt about the Micah Parsons trade. Let's see what the GOAT Nick Saban had to say about this deal.
You been paying attention to any of the NFL stuff right now with Micah? How do you know Jerry Jones well?
How can you not?
Yeah, it's everywhere.
No, I do not know Jerry Jones very well, but man, I tell you what, when you got a significant dominant player, especially pass rusher, I mean, those guys are so hard to find.
Oh.
I mean, boy, it'd be just hard for me as a coach to let a guy like that go, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. And there's been a lot of great clips coming out of all of it, including Micah celebrating around the house and telling his mom she's retired forever, obviously. And that's cool for him from the personal side. But the Green Bay Packers feel the exact same way you do. They go, hold on. We just picked up out 2 firsts. And Kenny Clark, great player. Nobody's talking about that enough.
Great player.
He's a great player.
Kenny's
got to stop the run.
Kenny's a great player, and Jerry said he got to stop the run. But I think there's a lot of teams saying, did we all know this is what it took to get Micah Parsons? I think anybody would want a dominant pass rush.
I'll pause there a second. Doesn't that sound like what we were saying? Like going into this whole process, there were people, media members, not just fans, not just random blow Joe from Kokomo over on X, right? These were media members who've been in and around the Green Bay Packers, talking Packers for multiple decades, saying it's going to take 4 first-round picks. It's going to take 3 first-round picks and Rashawn Gary, right? We're going, whoa. I told everybody I give up a first and a third. Now, that's the starting point, obviously. If they come back and say we want 2 firsts, got to think about that, right? And the fact that you unload Kenny Clark's contract as a part of the deal as well. And again, I know we're absorbing a cap penalty, but the beautiful thing is when Parsons' contract really kicks in, Kenny's off the books, right? So this kind of balances out. That's what we meant by that. Let's continue.
Pressure on their team. Jerry's getting judged pretty hard right now by everybody.
Yeah, I think so, because there's certain guys that affect the game. And, wide receivers can affect the game. Quarterback can affect the game. Great runner can affect the game. But pass rushers, in this day and age of football, when over 60% of the plays in the NFL are passes, and that guy can impact the game, not just in sacks, but how many times do you affect the quarterback? And how much is he worried about you as a rusher? I just think that's the one place on defense that a guy can really make an impact. Like you could say our whole secondary, we got to cover 5 guys. You got 1 pass rusher, you don't have to cover anybody except the quarterback.
Yeah, you're right. Ball's coming out quick. Coming out quick, too. I mean, that makes everybody.
So, obviously, that was Nick Saban on the Micah Parsons trade. Love what he said there. And listen, it's why we always talk about edge defender being a position of tier 1 importance. That's why when people were talking about shipping Rashawn Gary off, I was about to lose my mind. There was talks of that last year, right? And it's like, yes, I agree. He's not up there with the Myles Garretts and the Micah Parsons at rushing the quarterback, right? But because he's not lived up to the expectations of other first round picks, that doesn't mean you unload your best pass rusher. Hands down, he was our best pass rusher, right? So now you pick up a pass rushing specialist who can do a lot of other things as well, and you still got Rashawn Gary opposite side to stop the run. It's just absolutely huge. I love how you talked about affecting the play, not just sacks, guys, not just sacks. Again, I said yesterday, Micah played a little less than 700 snaps in 13 games, right around the same mark that Gary played in terms of overall snaps. If he gets the same amount of snaps as he did in Dallas, you may see that sack number go down a touch this year because of how we played defense last year in the Jeff Hafley scheme. Now, there's a chance that Jeff Hafley says, all right, they know we're keying in on the run. Let's pin our ears back and get real aggressive. You may see Micah finish with 16 or 17 sacks, right? All that's still on the table. But my point is, if the sack number goes down a touch, it's because of the scheme change, and don't be alarmed by that. I imagine even if it does drop a touch, you're probably going to see some of the other analytics, some of the other statistics geared around the defense and Jeff Hafley's approach to keeping other teams out of the end zone. You probably see those numbers improve a little bit, right? And if he warrants extra attention, which you'll see on Chalk Talk, man, he is a speed demon rushing off the edge and even playing Joker, mugging the A-gaps, things like that. The thought of him and Adrian Cooper in the A-gap, really, really exciting. So again, this deal makes all the sense in the world to me because of what you had to give up. You gave up 2 first-round picks and a player you were going to move on from next year because of salary cap ramifications anyway, and a guy who underperformed the last 3 to 4 years, right? So it makes all the sense in the world. 3 first-round picks and Rashawn Gary, absolutely not. 4 first-round picks, some people were saying yesterday, you've lost your mind. So I love that the media is kind of coming back down to earth now going, wow, man, it didn't take as much as we thought. Yeah, y'all were taking crazy pills with all that talk. So Reggie L in the chat says the reaction of the Cowboys fans has been the most delusional piece of work I've ever witnessed. They're big mad. It is hilarious to watch that process. They went from you're not getting Micah for anything less than 5 first-round picks. There was people all in my mentions talking about that from the Dallas Cowboy fans, right? And I'm going, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I don't understand the value of one player in the league, right? They went from that to them only getting 2 first-round picks and a 30-year-old, right? And all of a sudden, we fleeced you, right? And it's like, okay, keep telling yourself that. And then today on Dallas Sports Talk, which got to be honest, been listening to it all day long, they are having a complete meltdown. So this emotional roller coaster of Cowboy fans has been something to see. Reggie, completely agree there, buddy. So let's move on now to this is Ian Rappaport on the Insiders, or actually NFL Network Up to the Minute, I believe is the name of this show. And we'll just throw any kind of screen grab that seems pretty fitting for the situation here, right? And this is them talking about the back injury. There was a little bit of concern. People were going, I thought his back was hurt. We were pretty vocal on this particular program, this particular show, that, hey, look, it's common knowledge. Nothing was wrong with Micah Parsons' back. And I even sided with Jerry in that regard when I said, listen, if he tries to play that too aggressively when it comes to the quote unquote back injury, that's going to bite him in the ass, him being Parsons, because they can now punish you for, conduct detrimental to the team. So obviously, some Packer fans still a little bit worried about that back injury. Let's see if there was actually anything there. Here is Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, and Mike Garafolo talking about the phantom back injury.
Well, and you know what I was thinking about? You talk about the doctor's appointment that Micah Parsons went to. If there was ever any doubt from the Green Bay Packers whether or not he would pass a physical after not participating in training camp, like, he just passed one, right? I mean, I assume he went to go see Dr. Watkins, one of the experts in backs. He was in L.A. That's where, again, one of the specialists is. If the Packers ever wondered about his health, they probably got a pretty good read there, which just so happened to be while the two sides were negotiating Micah Parsons' contract, while the Packers knew they had a deal with the Dallas Cowboys, and they also now know Micah Parsons has a clean bill of health. So all those things happen in what has been a very nervy 3 or 4 days for everyone involved, including maybe a couple reporters. But all's well that ends well for Micah Parsons, who is now a Green Bay Packer.
So there you go. No concerns whatsoever when it comes to the back, as we had said before. Obviously, that's something that was just, listen, I'm not holding that against Micah. That's one of the only defenses he had, right? Jerry was right. Jerry Jones is the one who blinked here. Jerry was right. He had his rights for 3 years. There's nothing Micah could do about it. So it got to the point where Micah, I feel like, pressed in and his camp pressed in. When his camp told Jerry to stick the contract up his arse, I believe they knew exactly what they were doing going, we need to beat up on Jerry Jones's ego just enough to piss him off enough that he'll trade us and get us out of here, right? That's essentially what happened. 2-0 for this in the chat says the full contract is out, and boy, it is glorious. Russ Ball is a wizard. So let's talk a little bit about that. We won't have time to break the entire deal down, but let's kind of dive into some of the important numbers. And we had talked about this. The number you guys keep hearing is $47 million per, $48 million per, right? Check this out. Tom Pelissero breaking down the contract. Micah Parsons is expected to sign soon with the Packers. $44 million signing bonus, $62 million through the first new year, $100 million through the first two, $141 through the first three. $120 million fully guaranteed at signing, another $16 million for injury vests a year earlier. It's a massive deal. He goes on and says a full breakdown. $44 million signing bonus, $1.1 million base salary fully guaranteed. 2026, it's a $38 million option bonus fully guaranteed. And then you get the base salary fully guaranteed at $2.3 million. 2027, $34.4 million with $3.1 in base salary. So you get the fully guaranteed and then the injury guarantee of $3 million there in 2027. 2028, $40.5 million base salary, partially injury guaranteed. Count it off, guys. It's really, everybody's reporting it as a 4-year, however many $1 million deal. And they're saying that comes out to what everybody's saying, 47 to 48 million per. In actuality, it's actually a 5-year deal. Let's move along here. 2029, 43.5 million base salary, and then 1 million for the 90-man roster bonus. That's in 2029. Okay, so $200K per game, active bonus each year, $250 for the workout bonus each year. The new money is base value is 4 years, 186. That's what the agents have the insiders report when everything breaks out, right? They inflate that number and show the best case scenario of the number. And that's where you come up with everybody was going, wow, he's getting paid more than TJ Watt and these guys. And he may still be, but they're making it sound like it's significantly more, right? That's just a game the agents play to increase the value of their particular firm, including the year Parsons has left on his old contract. Kind of important. I love how he saved this for the very end. Including the year Parsons has left on his old contract, it's a 5-year, $210 million total deal. What does that mean? So instead of saying 4 years at $48 million per, it's truly a 5-year, right, $210 million deal. If you average that out, guess what, guys? We now jump down from 47 to 48 million, all the way down to 42 million average annual. But it gets better. 120 million guaranteed on a 5-year deal. You guys know how we talk about this all the time on PTA when we break down contracts. A 4-year deal typically with Goody is a 3-year deal. A 3-year deal is typically a 2-year deal. What does that mean? You can get out of that contract on the backside fairly easy. Notice again, when you look at the front side of the contract in 2025, $44 million signing bonus. Look at the base salary, 1.1, right? And then you notice when you get to 2028, that's where you get to the partially injury guarantee, okay? So essentially what this means is you got a 5-year, $120 million guaranteed. That's the real aspect of the contract. So when you get to, with this 5-year deal, when you get to year 3, when you get to 2027 and you've cleared that, he's played 3 years with the Packers, guess what? Now you can start getting out of that contract. If you want to, you may not want to. You may want to keep him around until he's 33. He's a physical freak. I feel like he stayed fairly healthy. Cowboy fans never talked about him being injury prone until he was traded. Now all of a sudden we're supposed to be worried that he's injury prone. And of course, the back injury comes back just fine. So again, we'll get into all the details of the contracts later. Just wanted to point that out, that it is not the 4-year, $48 million per that people were reporting, right? It's essentially a 5-year, $210 million, $42 million on average but you can get out of it after 3 years if you want to. And also, you can reduce those cap numbers. If he's balling out, you can reduce those cap numbers by throwing him some more guaranteed money, converting that $40.5 million signing bonus. You know how much room right there you have to convert over to signing bonus, tack on 2 voidable years, and kick that cap hit, 2 years down the road. It's absolutely huge. And again, that doesn't come due until you move on from him, where it accelerates, much like you've seen with the Kenny Clark contract. So again, beautiful job. Completely agree there, 2-0 for this. Our boy Russ Ball cooked here, and I think he's one of the most underrated capologists, whatever you want to call him, cap guru in the entire National Football League. Let's move along to this. How are fans and players reacting? Rasheed Walker tweeted out, "It's over with, LOL," as he quote tweeted SportsCenter, "The new look Packers defense after the Micah Parsons trade. Best defense in the league, ? Rashawn Gary, Edgerrin Cooper, Xavier McKinney, Keyshawn Nixon included in it. I thought that was kind of cool. They included Key. And then Micah Parsons. Now, I would replace Key with a couple other players, maybe an Evan Williams, somebody like that, right? Devontae Wyatt is so far under the radar, guys. Last we heard, I think he was in the 90 percentile in terms of pressure rate from true pass sets, right? So keep that in mind. Devontae Wyatt's going to get a lot more opportunities. Carl Brooks is now going to step into a starting role, but who knows? Maybe you see Rashawn Gary kick in from time to time. Maybe you see Lucas Van Ness kick inside from time to time, just like they used him over with Iowa in college. Now, last thing I want to hit on here real quick, Bleacher Report put this out. All of a sudden, Micah Parsons is favored to win the Defensive Player of the Year award following his trade to the Packers. What changed, guys? Micah Parsons isn't all of a sudden a better player than he was in Detroit 24 hours ago, or I'm sorry, Dallas 24 hours ago, right? So what changed? Could it be that he's finally got a damn near elite, I would say great, definitely great edge defender in Rashawn Gary, who was the best run-stopping edge defender in all of football last year? Could it be he's got him on the opposite side now? I think it's got a lot to do with it. I think you also take into consideration Devontae Wyatt. If you put Carl Brooks into one tech in that nickel 4-2-5, which is what we're going to be in the majority of the year unless we go to a 3-3-5 Cub or some sort of that nature. If you put Carl Brooks in the one and you force a double team there, right, because he's in the one tech in the A gap on the left, you put Devontae Wyatt in the 3 tech, and then you have Rashawn Gary out in a wide 9, opposite side wide 9 for Micah Parsons. Guess what? You've got Devontae Wyatt with a one-on-one matchup against a guard most likely, and they've got to choose. Do we double Parsons or do we double Rashawn? And if they decide we're going to double chip, let's say have a tight end on Parsons' side to chip before he goes out and releases, and let's have a running back on the side of Gary to chip before he goes out and releases into the route, guess what? You're minimizing your targets in the passing game. What did we start this show with right here? Nick Saban talking about how he pressuring the quarterback will affect the other team, right? When you hear pressures, you think, oh, yeah, you got in the quarterback's face. Guys, it happens pre-snap too. It happens on Tuesday, the day of game week. That's when you hear the term on this show, Tuesday player. Oh, he's a Tuesday player. Oh, that's a Tuesday player. When we're breaking down the preview for the Detroit Lions game, you're going to hear us say, who are their Tuesday players? I didn't make that up, right? None of the guys on the show made that up. That's Bill Belichick 101, and he learned it from a lot of pioneers in the game of football. Well, guess what? Where did Nick Saban learn that from? Bill Belichick in Cleveland, right? You'll hear Michael Lombardi talk about it. He learned it from Bill Walsh and Bill Belichick. So why is that important? You now have a defensive front that's absolutely loaded with players. Micah Parsons is the biggest threat. There's no two ways about it in the passing game, right? You got to come out on Tuesday and go, how do we stop number 11, 0, whatever number he's going to wear? How do we stop him from wrecking our game plan, right? But you can bet your sweet rear end they're going to also be looking across and going, don't forget about Gary, because in the past, teams have been able to chip Gary all game long. That's something that's a real thing as well. Now, in terms of run defense, yes, that's not Micah Parsons' strength, but don't take this the wrong way. Some people are acting like Micah Parsons is an absolute bum in run defense. That is not the case. But the way he plays, he flies up the field. That's going to make you a little more vulnerable in the run game on his side if Jeff Hafley allows him to play with that freedom. That's an easy fix. All you got to do is make sure you got an extra body over there protecting him on that side of the line as well. So what you'll probably see in your base 4-3 is a 5-man front, what I refer to as a jam. Everybody likes to throw the Sam term around a lot, which is a Sam backer, strong side of the formation, a backer that's going to line up over the tight end. If they're not truly stacked guys, I don't understand people still calling it a Sam. If they're on the line of scrimmage, that's an edge defender. If Micah Parsons is on the line of scrimmage, whether it's on the tight end side or the weak side, and you got a 5-man front, that's what we refer to as a jam, as long as you've got at least a shade or a zero covering up the center. You're forcing one-on-ones across the board. It's a one-gap approach to stopping the run, and Micah Parsons will be just fine in that role on run defense for sure. So that's all I got, guys. Just want to give you a quick episode. Probably no show tonight. Don't be surprised if you just get a random notification that we go live. But it's Friday Night Lights tonight. We're going to watch some high school football, take the night off, and hang out with the family. So we'll be back tomorrow, definitely, for a PTA Live. We'll probably do another early afternoon, late afternoon show like this, just a quick little hitter to get you guys any information that's released. What we'll probably do early tomorrow is bring you guys some sound bites from Micah Parsons, who's going to be speaking, I believe, at 6 p.m. Central Time at Lambeau Field, talking about the Packers. And more importantly, Drew D mentions those Badgers got that dub yesterday. It's a great day last night a great way to start off the season for the Wisconsin Badgers, no doubt about it, Drew. So college football all day tomorrow. We'll be back with PTA. Football season's here. It's a glorious time. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate it on such short notice. Do me a favor, hit that like, hit subscribe. Make sure you click the bell icon so you're notified when we go live like this randomly, all right? Again, my name's Clayton. This is PTA. Go Pack, go.
There we go.
Bye, guys.